finally, somewhat in sync. As you can see, guys and gals, I'm using a different computer in my living room, and yeah, it's got a built-in cam like my Apple computer, but it sucks ass more than this. It's like 320p or less. I mean, it's really low quality. It's one of those HP all-in-one computers. It's got Windows 10, which is bad enough. And it does not like my Microsoft HD cam. I'm doing good to use it at this low resolution here. If I try and do HD, it gets really sluggish. So right now I look like I'm watching my doppelganger here as I watch myself talk. It's off by a few seconds, obviously. Hopefully the video won't sound too bad. Otherwise, on with the show, as I finally got stuff to show you guys. Finally had somebody at my Goodwill, I think a new employee, that was setting stuff out for sale or whatever, and she was also pricing things, and she obviously knew that, yes, we're working at a thrift store. I got some Nintendo carts and a couple Atari carts, and yeah, the Nintendo games. Some of them are dubs, which I already have homes for, the extras. The rest are going into my personal collection. But man, I got them for dirt cheap. Not only did she price them really cheap because she didn't see any value in them, half price day, so dirt cheap. I'll be lucky as frickin' hell if I ever see them for that cheap again. As I found another one that maybe got stuck in another box that she had out, and it was also pretty damn cheap compared to what I usually see them for. Usually my Goodwill for any kind of cartridge game, Nintendo, Atari, whatever, it's like $4 and up. If it's anything that looks like it might be minutely valuable, it goes in the counter, and sometimes it's up to $10 or more. They get crazy on their prices. So hopefully this lady will stay there and not get a different job. So at least somebody there knows they're at a thrift store. So I'll be showing those in a little bit. Right now I'm going to show this stuff I've gotten at regular old retail stores like Wally World. And speaking of my Walmart, especially on this, yeah, some of the videos that I've watched is I'm on Facebook, and I'm on a lot of the game sites and stuff through Facebook or whatever, to where people will show off what they've gotten at their Walmarts, and they're always a lot cheaper, but usually that person lives in a big city. I don't. Kingman's pretty damn small still, and my Walmart is greedy as hell. They've only just started marking down the prices on some of this, and it's not as low as everybody else, not even close, as I still spent $19 on this. But to me, cool enough, I finally got it in my collection, and it's my all-time favorite game, so for me this is more a nostalgia thing for me, and it's cool looking. Yeah, it's a little hard to play. That's where I agree with some of the people that have reviewed this one. The little control for moving the character around, the joystick / cross pad, it's a bit touchy on getting them lined up right. Otherwise, it looks good. So anyways, this is one of those My Arcade micro players. So I finally got myself Burger Time. Cosmetically, it looks really nice compared to the other ones that I've picked up. It looks like they use vinyl stickers. It feels like a vinyl sticker. It just looks nice. So on looks, really happy with it. On playability, tolerable. It is the NES version of Burger Time, which is a good version of it. I'm cool with it. I'm used to the Intellivision one. That's what I grew up with, but I do like the NES version. It's pretty close to arcade, so good enough. Anyways, finally, at least they knocked it down to $19, and I figured I better grab it because they only had 2 left. On other stuff, this is where my store's crazy, people. I keep seeing people to where they're finding like the PlayStation Mini at Walmart for like $30. My frickin' store still wants $99 for that goddamn thing. And how long has it been out? I did notice they have the new Sega Genesis Mini, but I'm pretty sure they're matching the price with GameStop. It was like $79.99, so a bit too pricey for a plug-and-play thing. Even if it does have some good games on it, I've heard it is pretty damn nice. for what it is. I wish they would have made it to where you could add games to it. Maybe somebody had come up with a hack, but until I see it marked down somewhere, I'm passing on it. That is something that I like to have in my collection, especially that they went with the original Model 1 Genesis. It's this high-definition graphics and has the original style controllers. That's cool. I like the look of it. Otherwise, I wait till I find that stuff used or just marked down. So, on PS4 stuff, a couple new games to show you guys. This first one is for PlayStation VR. This is one that I didn't pay much for. I just got it on a whim. I'm starting to really like the VR now that I'm starting to get used to it. And this one, no nausea whatsoever. Didn't bug me whatsoever. And it's one to where you're mostly just walking around. I found the ones where you just walk around where you're moving slow, so everything's not just all over the place like the shooter games and stuff. I seem to do better on that. And this is basically like an interactive movie to where you're in the movie, but you're kind of like a bystander to where you're following the main character around and you can follow other characters around. So you can go anywhere you want, but you're trying to find out who did what. And it does play it like a movie, so once the chapter's over, it's over, depending on who you followed around. But you can backtrack, as in rewind, and select what character you want to follow around, just in case there was something you missed. And the murder happens at the house of Nikola Tesla, which is pretty cool. Graphically, not one of the best for VR. Unless they fix it in one of the updates, as it's updated I think a couple of times since I've had it. Has to do with like when you're looking at a character. If I'm standing at a certain angle, like looking at their face, I've noticed it gets a little bit distorted. Not horrible, just a little bit, like it's off a bit. Otherwise, not bad. I could see where they're going here, to where they're trying to show like the future of watching movies, to where you'll be able to watch your movie and then interact in it, like feel like you're actually in the movie, or just interact. So it's kind of cool. If you guys can find it cheap, it's worth picking up. It's called The Invisible Hours. And it's the usual teen, blood, mild language, suggestive themes, use of alcohol, use of tobacco, violence. Yeah. It's pretty much you show up after the murders happened. So it's a lot of introduction to the different people, and then, like I say, you can follow them around afterwards to see who did what. And some of them aren't as what they say they are. Now this game, everybody that I've seen do reviews on this, or whatever, where it's a written review of it, on what they think, a lot of them are saying, oh, it's full of bugs, it's full of this, it's full of that, it's not the greatest, it slows down and does this and does that. Either those are old reviews when this game first came out, hence that seems to be the thing now. They release it too goddamn soon, and it's still got a bunch of bugs in it, but it's somewhat playable. That seems to be the thing lately. And then if you have high-speed internet, you can fix that thing. Hence, I think the last update fixed it, as I've had no problems with it since. But for me, it was when I was loading up the game for the first time to play it. Got past all the little intro things for the different companies, and then when it got up to loading the actual game, it just stopped. Or did something like that. It just screwed up. So I had to restart it, and then it did okay. Otherwise, I'm having fun with this one. I haven't gotten too far in it yet. Basically, I've made it to the train. The train's broken down as there was a barricade. And then you got shot up by another train that was bad guys, so you end up blowing that one up or whatever. And then you gotta hunt around, I guess, for train parts and try and find some good non-crazy locals. And this is one of the limited edition ones. Unfortunately, it's a used limited edition one, and they already used the codes, so it's basically I got a cool looking game case here that's made out of metal and a book showing the artwork. All the extra stuff, it was all downloadable. That seems to be what they're doing lately on that, instead of putting it on another disc, which, how hard is it to freaking do that? I'd pay more if it was on a disc, so you don't have to download every goddamn thing, but that was it with this. Once those codes are used, they're used. Otherwise, got Metro Exodus, the not-so-limited Aurora Edition. Because, yes, it's very limited on the one that I got. Otherwise, it's in really good shape. And my GameStop knows on those stupid codes to where if it's used, obviously the codes are going to be used. So they just sold it to me for the used price of a regular version of it otherwise. Cool hard case here. It's like a sleeve. So you get this art book with it. And then nice hard case showing the train that is now broke down. Just cool. So it could be it's been out long enough to where maybe they fixed some of the problems with the bugs and whatnot. But, say, man, I haven't gotten too far in it, so they can show up at any time. I had the same problem with Rage 2. There was definitely some bugs in it when I first played it, and then once it updated it, no problems. In fact, that updated the same time I was updating this, and it was like, God, 24 freaking gigs or something. And I haven't played it since, so I don't know if they've added more to the game or what. Could be they just had a lot of stuff to fix. Alright, so that's all the newish stuff. Let me show you guys this. Which, man, if this thing didn't have just one little chip in the plastic on the corner, oh, this would be one of the mintiest Ataris I have found. And also, if some dumbass didn't wrap tape around the thing to hold on the power supply and ruin the bottom label, it would also look like one of the mintiest Ataris I've ever had. Otherwise, let's see, this was $14 at Goodwill for an Atari Junior long rainbow variation. No dents in the metal plate, and it still had the protective film on it, which I was going to save it, but like I say, they wrapped packing tape around it and it pulled it right off. But man, it is clean. So to be, this is what I don't understand. They had these separate, but whatever. I can't remember what I paid for them. It was like a couple bucks maybe. I didn't get any joysticks, but I did get a couple paddle controls. So not too bad. And it plays great. So anyways, first Goodwill find. This was my only actual yard sale find, and cool looking. I think I have this already, but this one was really newish looking, like somebody just got it and never really played it. It's one of those Jack specific plug and plays. Or maybe not. Nope, this is, I think this is Jack's. Let's see. Yeah, it's Jack's. I think this one came out in 2009. Anyways, got the one that's Darth Vader. Got some decent games on it. One of them is it's got some shooter games on it. And one of them it's like kind of like Asteroid style on how you're moving the ship around, but the way they spin it, it's weird. It's like it does it in segments, and it kept getting me killed. So it's one where you'd have to get used to it, to where you push left and it goes all the way to the left, like rotates to the left. If you push right, it rotates all the way to the right instead of just gradually spinning like it would in most of those style games. I don't know why they did it that way, but cool enough. Anyways, we got it for a couple bucks. I got a nice collection of plug and play ones now. Let's see. Okay, this is something I didn't pick up. These, some of them have sleeves, some of them don't, but they're in really good shape. There's only one I think that needs a little bit of cleaning. Anyways, I got these all on the same day. Say this lady didn't think they were worth anything, so she priced them real cheap for me. Because I grabbed the whole stack and then realized no prices, and she said, oh, do like a couple bucks a piece or whatever, and she did better than that. Anyways, got Wheel of Fortune for the original Nintendo. Super Mario Duck Hunt with a sleeve. Dr. Mario with a sleeve. Tetris 2. Yoshi. The original Tetris. Another original Tetris. Yeah, I got dubs, but they all got homes. Some of them are going to be Christmas presents. This one I found later on by itself, and I think it was maybe the same lady because it was only $2. It's RBI 3 Baseball, or RBI Baseball 3 or whatever. Those tension games, but same as the others, in good shape. I'm thinking this one got stuck in another box when they got the original Nintendo cards. Another copy of Tetris. This looked like it got barely played. And when it comes to the Atari 5200, I don't care what type of game it is, I grab it. They are so scarce in my area. And it's even got the controller overlay that looks like it never got used. I think they just either stick it on a table and read it that way, or just left it in the back of the cart. There's no fingernail prints or anything on it from people pressing buttons. Otherwise, I got Real Sports Soccer for the 5200. Let's see. Brand new looking overlay. This one, I would have passed on it if it was like a couple of bucks, because I probably have it already, but it's in good shape. And say, man, I got a killer deal on these. Got one Atari cart, just backgammon, but in really good shape. And then last, another copy of Dr. Mario, and it was a Saturday, half price day. That's what she marked them all at, 99 cents. So I got all these for 50 cents a piece, man. Say, I'll be lucky as hell if I ever get that good a deal at my Goodwill again. I was just there at the right damn time. Alright. This is yesterday's finds. All this stuff came from a local swap meet type thing where they just do it occasionally in front of my local bowling alley. Anyways, this, oh great, now I got two of them. So this piece of shit that unfortunately still half-ass works, is now it's a little worse, is, man, I've gotten several of these, and all of them have the same problem where they grab onto the carts for dear life, especially if it's the original Nintendo. I don't know what's up with that, but not only does it grab on for dear life, but the stupid little pins get pulled out. It had one of them that was screwed up, now it's showing two, and I don't know how the hell you fix that, other than it was working last time, but Super Nintendo part of it works no problem. This is one of those Retrons. And let's see. Yeah. Retron Model 2. So got this. And I did get 2 controllers with it, one for Nintendo, one for Super. The one for Super seems to work okay. The one for regular Nintendo, hence I had to break this puppy out to test it with. Either the controller port's bad for the regular Nintendo on that, somewhat, that's what I was thinking, or the controller, and it turns out that it's the controller that needs to be opened up and cleaned, or it's a faulty controller. I couldn't get it to start the game. It's like none of the buttons were responding until I plugged this puppy in, and then everything worked. Otherwise, it won't work for long, being that some of the stinking pins in the card slot are getting loose. But that's not the reason I bought this lot. This was definitely a good score. There's a power supply for it. Nice heavy duty cable for it. Plug it on the TV. Games out. Got a few Nintendo and a few Super Nintendo games. Not the greatest, but not horrible. There's definitely some here that I did not have in my collection. Pretty sure I didn't have this already. I think I have this on the Genesis, so cool to have it on Super Nintendo. Nice copy of The Lion King. And this one's definitely different. I was having a hard time figuring out on what all you're supposed to do. It's like, it shows like you're supposed to spell a word, but it's not giving you any of the letters, but I guess you could spell other words as you're going to make the columns go away. It's a different take on Tetris. Anyways, it's called Wordtris. Like a spelling type game. Anyways, really good condition. This is the only one that was really dirty, and it does play. I just got to open it up and clean the card good. And I don't know if I have this or not. It's Town and Country, Surf Design, Pearl City, Hawaii, Wood and Water Rage. Good copy of California Games. Which that one I know I didn't have. This one I didn't have, so I played it for a little bit, and it's a nice copy of it. Star Tropics. And then Monopoly. These HyperCam controllers, they're just not the greatest, but at least this one seems to work good. I'm hoping it's just the NES one has some gunk in the buttons or something. Hopefully it's not in the cord, because I wasn't getting any kind of response with it. Otherwise, it's not beat up or anything, so I don't know. It could outright be faulty. It's a problem with all these aftermarket ones that they're making now. So anyways, this was what made me jump on it. Unfortunately, I do not have the game, but I'm sure it will turn up. So really no way to test this other than it's in nice condition. And if he had the other one that daisy chains to it, I would have lost my mind for the price I paid. Anyways, got myself a Konami Blue Justifier here. And for anybody that hasn't found one of these or is new to collecting, I never had one of these before. I had it for the Genesis, and it doesn't have this. It's, I believe, separate controllers on that. But it's like a telephone jack there. And I guess you had to order the other gun that was pink, and then it would daisy chain to this. So, cool. So hopefully it works good. As this is basically worth about the amount that I paid for everything there. I got all this stuff for $30. So, not too bad. Like I say, man, this thing works, but you get what you pay for. I haven't had any luck with these kind of systems, man. They always seem to have some type of problem. In fact, I got a couple of the Retron 3s that got the knob on it that you turn. I don't know if that's what goes bad or what on selecting the system, or if they just plain suck, but both of them crapped out on me, and I got them both brand new, and they just quit all of a sudden, not working. So I'll see what I can do on this. Hopefully I can fix that little problem there, or I'll just use it for testing out Super Nintendo carts, because it loaded them up with no problem. And it does have the ejector button, but man, you feel like you're going to break the damn thing. It doesn't fit in as hard on the Super Nintendo, but you still feel like you're going to break the damn thing. It has to put a lot of force on it to pop it out, and it literally pops it out like a freaking toaster. So, just not the best quality. So, that is all the stuff I found this time. I have no idea how big a file this is going to be. I'm using a Debut video software, the free version, and I guess the paid version allows you to change the video settings to what type of output you want it. Right now it's just AVI, and because it's the free version it won't let me change it. But like I say, this computer doesn't work the best with this program, or it just doesn't like my Microsoft camera. Yeah, it's doing a little bit better. That's what's weird. It's like the computer's got to catch up with it. It's still off on what I can see here. So, we'll see. Hopefully I won't have to do the video over again. I get sick of that. So, hope you guys are doing good. Have a good one, everybody.